Okay, next is chapter 8, environmental issues. So, after understanding the structure and functions of major ecosystem of the world, now students community should observe and understand environmental problems of their surroundings at local, national and international level. ஏன்னா எல்லாமே அஃபெக்ட் ஆகுது. அதனால் அதை என்ன பண்ணணும், லோக்கல் ஆர் நேஷ்னல் ஆர் இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் லெவலில் என்ன பண்ணிக்கணும், என்விரான்மெண்டல் ப்ராப்ளத்தை அப்சர்வ் பண்ணி சால்வ் பண்ணணும். Now we are going to understand some of the environmental issues such as first overpopulation, அடுத்து health issue, next waste disposal, all type of pollution, greenhouse gases, ozone depletion, water, energy, food scarcity, deforestation, climate change, industrialization and urbanization impact. இதெல்லாம் என்ன, அது environmental issues. The environmental issues are the problems and harmful effects created by எல்லாமே யாரால் வருது, humans, unmindful activity of over utilization of valuable resources obtained from the nature environment. Students should understand not only the environmental issue we are facing now, but also find a solution to rectify or reduce this problem. Countries of the world agree that something needs to follow, how they needs to be done about this important environmental issues. Many global summits, conferences and conventions are regularly conducted by the United Nations, and many steps are taken to minimize human induced issues by signing agreement with around 150 countries. Students may form eco groups school and discuss eco issues on their premises and find solution to the existing problem like litter disposal, குப்பையில் எப்படி பண்ணலாம், வாட்டர் ஸ்டாக்னேஷன் தேங்காமல் இருக்கணும், health and hygiene, greening the campus and its maintenance. Drastic increase in population resulted in demand for more productivity of food, materials, fibers, fuels, which led to many environmental issues in land use modification, resulting in loss of biodiversity, land degradation, reduction freshwater availability, and also resulting in man-made global warming by greenhouse gases, even altering climatic condition. Greenhouse effect and global warming. Greenhouse effect is a process by which radiant hot heat from the sun is captured by gases in the atmosphere that increase the temperature of the earth ultimately, and the gases that capture heat are called greenhouse gases, which என்னென்ன அப்படின்னா 2 மார்க் கேட்பாங்க. Include carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide and a variety of manufactured chemicals like chlorofluorocarbon. எங்கள் ஒரு ரெஃப்ரிஜரேட்டர். அடுத்து increase in greenhouse gases lead to irreversible changes in major ecosystem and climatic patterns. For example, coral ecosystem is affected by increase in temperature, especially coral bleaching observed by எங்கே அப்படின்னா கல்ஃப் ஆஃப் மன்னார் தமிழ்நாடு. ஹியூமன் ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ் லீட் டு ப்ரொடியூஸ் த க்ரீன் ஹவுஸ் எஃபெக்ட் பை எதனால வருது பர்னிங் ஆஃப் ஃபாசில் ஃபியூல்ஸ் which release CO2 and CH4. Way of agriculture and animal husbandry practices. Electrical gadgets like refrigerator and air conditioner release chlorofluorocarbons. The fertilizer used in agri which release N2O. The emission from automobiles. The increase in mean global temperature highest in 4,000 years due to the increased concentration of greenhouse gases is called global warming. One of the reasons for the overpopulation which creates growing need for food, fiber and fuel and considered to be major cause of global warming. Do you know clouds and dust particles can also produce greenhouse effect? That is why cloud dust and humid nights are warmer than clear dust free drainage. அடுத்து இம்பார்ட்டண்டாக கேட்கக்கூடியது எஃபெக்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் குளோபல் வார்மிங். என்னென்ன எஃபெக்ட்ஸ்? ரைஸ் இன் குளோபல் டெம்பரேச்சர் அதிகமாகுது விச் காசஸ் சி லெவல் வந்து என்ன ஆகும் டு ரைஸ் எஸ் போலார் ஐஸ் கேப்ஸ் கிளேசியர் எல்லாம் மெல்ட் ஆகும் பிகன் டு மெல்ட் காசிங் சப்மெர்ஜன்ஸ் எந்த ஏரியாவில் அந்த ஓரத்தில் ஆஃப் மெனி கோஸ்டல் cities in many parts of the world. There will be a drastic change in weather patterns bringing more flood and drought. ஒரு பக்கம் வெள்ளம் ஒரு பக்கம் வறட்சியாக இருக்குது some areas. Biological diversity may get modified. Some species ranges get redefined. Tropics and subtropics may face the problem of decreased food production. Source of green gases emission. நேச்சுரலாகவும் ஆந்த்ரோபோஜெனிக் மேன்மேடும் மனிதனால என்ன பண்ணுறோம் CO2 coal based power plants by the burning of fossil fuels for electricity generation அதனால CO2 ரிலீஸ் ஆகும். அதுக்கடுத்து கம்பஷன் ஆஃப் ஃபியூல் எரிக்கிறனாலையும் ஆஃப் த இன்ஜின்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஆட்டோமொபைல்ஸ் கமர்ஷியல் வெஹிக்கிள்ஸ் அண்ட் ஏர் பிளான் contribute the most of global warming. Agricultural practices like stubble burning result in emission of CO2. Natural from organic matter, volcanoes and warm oceans and sediments. Methane is 20 times as effective as CO2 at trapping heat in the atmosphere. Its source are attributed paddy cultivation, cattle rearing, bacteria and water bodies, fossil fuel production, ocean, non-wetland soils and forest wildfire. இதெல்லாம் என்னது emission of methane. Next is NO2. It's naturally produced in ocean from biological sources of soil and water due to the microbial actions and the rainforest. Man-made sources include nylon and nitric acid production, use of fertilizer in agriculture, manure, cars with the catalytic converter and burning of organic matter. Next, global warming effects on plants. Low agriculture productivity in tropics, frequent heat waves, weeds, pests, fungi need warmer temperature, increase of vectors and epidemics, strong storms and intense flood damage, water crisis and decreased irrigation, changing in flowering season and pollinators, change in species distribution which range. அப்புறம் என்னது ஸ்பீசிஸ் எக்ஸ்டிங்ஸ் அழிஞ்சு போகிறது. strategies to deal with global warming, increasing the vegetation cover, grow more trees. அடுத்து reducing the use of fossil fuel and greenhouse gas வந்து குறைச்சிக்கணும். அடுத்து developing alternative renewable source of energy, திரும்ப புதுப்பிக்கக்கூடிய எனர்ஜியாக ஆல்ட்ரு பண்ணிக்கணும். மினிமைசிங் யூஸ் ஆஃப் நைட்ரோஜனஸ் ஃபெர்டிலைசரு ஏரோசால்ஸ் எல்லாம் குறைச்சிக்கணும். ஓசோன் டெப்ளிஷன் எப்படி ஓஷன் வந்து வாட்டர் உள்ளது டெப்ளிட் ஆகுது அப்படின்னா ஓசோன் லேயர் இஸ் எ ரீஜன் ஆஃப் எந்த இடத்துல இருக்கு எர்த் stratosphere that absorb most of the sun's ultraviolet radiation. The ozone layer is also called as the ozone shield, and it acts as the protective shield cutting the ultraviolet radiation emitted by the sun. Just above the atmosphere, and there are two layers, namely troposphere, the lower layer, and the stratosphere, upper layer. The zone layer of the troposphere is called bad zone. அது வந்து நல்ல குட் ஜோன் எங்கே இருக்குன்னா ஸ்டெடோஸ்பியர், அண்ட் த ஓசோன் லேயர் இஸ் ஸ்டெடோஸ்பியர் இஸ் known as குட் ஓசோன் பிகாஸ் திஸ் லேயர் ஆக்ட் as a shield. எதை வந்து அப்சர்வ் பண்ணிக்கோ ஃபார் அப்சர்விங் த யூவி ரேடியேஷன்ஸ் கம்மிங் ஃப்ரம் இந்த சன் which is harmful for living organism. Ozone is a colorless gas O3. Reacts readily with air pollutant and cause rubber to crack, hurt plant life, damages lung tissue, but ozone absorbs harmful ultraviolet rays, beta UVB, and UV alpha radiation from sunlight. What is a Dobson unit? ஓசோன் அதை மெஷர் பண்ணுற யூனிட்டுக்கு பேர் வந்து டாப்சன். DU is the unit of measurement of total ozone. 1 DU 0.00180 atmosphere is the number of molecules of ozone that would be required to create a layer of pure ozone 0.1 millimeter thick at the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius and the pressure of 1 atm. Atm is the air pressure at the surface of the earth. Total ozone layer over the earth surface is 0.3 centimeters 3 mm thick and the written as 300 Dobson unit. The false color view the total ozone. The purple and blue color are where there is a least ozone, and the yellow and red are where there more ozone. Causing the DNA damage. The thickness of the ozone column of air from the ground and the top of the atmosphere is measured time Dobson unit. அடுத்து வாட் இஸ் ஓசோன் கேட்பாங்க. The ozone shield is being damaged by chemicals released on the earth's surface, notably the chlorofluorocarbon, widely used refrigeration, aerosol chemicals used as cleaners in many industries. The decline in the thickness of the ozone layer is restricted areas called ozone hold. September 16 தான் என்னது World Ozone Day. Ozone depletion in the stratosphere result more UV radiations, especially UVB radiation shortwave. UVB radiation destroy biomolecules, skin aging, and damages living tissue. UVC is the most damaging type of UV radiation, but it is completely filtered by the atmosphere ozone layer. UV contribute 95% of inner UV radiation, which causes tanning, burning of skin, and enhancing skin cancer affect ஆகுது. Hence, the uniform ozone layer is critical for the well-being of life on Earth. During 1970s, research findings indicated that man-made chlorofluorocarbon reduce and convert ozone molecules in the atmosphere, and the threats associated with reduced ozone pushed the issue to the forefront of global climate issue and gained promotion through organizations such as World Meteorological Organization and the United Nations. The Vienna Convention was agreed upon at the Vienna Conference of 1985, but entered in the force upon 1988, provided the framework necessary to create regulative measures in the form of the Montreal Protocol. எந்த இடத்துலனா மான்ட்ரியல் புரோட்டோகால். The international treaty called the Montreal Protocol 1987 was held in Canada on substances that deplete the ozone layer, and the main goal of the it's gradually eliminating the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances and to limit the damage on the ozone layer. அடுத்து clean development mechanism. அடுத்த புரோட்டோகால் வந்து என்னன்னா கியோட்டோ புரோட்டோகால். Defined in the Kyoto Protocol 2007, which provide project-based mechanism with two objectives: to prevent dangerous climate change and to reduce greenhouse gases emission. CDM, the Clean Development Management Mechanism. Projects helps the countries to reduce or limit emissions and stimulate sustainable development. தொடர் தரும் பயன் தரும் முக்கியத்துவம் சொல்லுவாங்க sustainable development. An example for a CDM project activity is replacement of conventional electrification project with solar panel and other energy efficient boilers. Such project can earn certified emission reduction CR with credit score each equivalent to 1 ton of CO2, which can be counted towards meeting Kyoto target. அதுக்கடுத்து plant indicators. Pollution எப்படியெல்லாம் indicate. The presence or absence of certain plants indicate the state of environment by the response. The plant species or plant community act as a measure of environmental conditions. It is referred as biological indicators or phytoindicators or plant indicators. எதுன்னு பார்த்தா lichen, ficus, pinus, rose, SO2 indicator, petunia, pink color flower, chrysanthemum, nitrate, gladiolus, அழகா flower இருக்கும், fluoride pollution, robinia, pseudo acacia, black locust tree, indicator of heavy metal contamination indicate பண்ணும். அதுக்கடுத்து effects of ozone depletion. The main என்னென்ன எஃபெக்ட்ஸ் விளைவு என்ன? இன்க்ரீஸ் த இன்சிடென்ஸ் ஆஃப் cataract, throat and lung irritation, and aggravation of asthma, emphysema, skin cancer, and diminishing of functioning of immune system in human being. Juvenile mortality, ரொம்ப சின்ன வயசுலேயே இறக்கிறது of animals. Increase incidence of mutation in plants. Photosynthetic chemicals will be affected and therefore photosynthesis will be inhibited. Decreased photosynthesis will result in increased atmospheric CO2, resulting in global warming and also shortage of food, leading to food crisis. Increasing temperature changes and climate of and rainfall pattern, which may result in வெள்ளம், blood, drought, sea water rise, imbalance in ecosystem affecting flora and fauna.